Welcome back to the Fabulous Fit and Fantastic Show. I'm very excited because I've got a guest who falls into all three categories. She is fabulous, she is fit, and she's definitely fantastic. Her name is Carole Plant, and she is a sales representative with Royal LePage, your community broker. So welcome to the show, Carole.
Thank you very much, Wendy.
It's exciting for you to be here. And I know, first of all, I've had a personal experience with you as a real estate. Do I say agent or broker?
You can say realtor or, yeah,
okay.
Realtor.
I know that you are definitely one of the best. And I'm speaking just personally, sharing with the world that what you do is outstanding.
Oh,
so we're going to talk about, what does somebody need to know and why they need to know it and how they get that information. But first of all, just share how long you've been in the business and what do you personally see your key role as a realtor?
Sure.
Yeah.
I started into the business, well, about 7 years ago I became an official realtor. But before that I was the marketing specialist director for the brokerage I was working for at the time, and before that in marketing and advertising, so it kind of all dovetailed nicely together. For me, I never pictured myself being a realtor. It was kind of an accident that I fell into the business, but I have found that I'm very passionate about it simply because it is an extremely creative business. It's all about stories.
Yes.
It's all about transitions. It's all about happy times and sad times. There's almost no time that you're dealing with a client that isn't going through some sort of a changing chapter in their lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that you fell into it. Because you've made a huge difference in many people's lives.
Oh, thank you, Wendy.
So for me personally. But I know that client motivation is really an important factor when somebody's going through a transaction. So let's just talk a little bit about that, because I know for me when I was going through it with you, we talked about it, and you're like, client motivation is huge. What exactly does that mean? And the people watching, if they're thinking about buying a house or specifically selling their house, what does that mean for them?
Well, I'm just going to step back a little bit and say, first of all, I think the key role of a skilled realtor, and this is key, is to think with the heart of a volunteer. Set aside the revenue aspect of it. Of course, you'll always be rewarded if you're working well, but you can't think, oh, I've spent so many hours on this and so many hours on that, and it didn't turn into anything. Because
probably had a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's a portrait at the end of the year, and you stand back, and it comes together. And in doing that, protection and client protection is the #1 thing that I focus on. I feel it's a complex world. It's a big ticket item, and so forgetting about what I'm making and thinking about protecting my client, it always serves me well. So from there, protection, well, when people expose their motivation in life to you, they are really exposing themselves to you. This is a very, very sacred place for anyone to invite you into. So, if people are sharing with me that they have financial difficulties, that they might have health challenges, they might have their marriage might be breaking down. I've had clients who are passing away. Yes. And, they're sharing things with me that are very, very sacred. So for me, protecting that motivation so that they can negotiate through me the best possible outcome for themselves it's imperative. In fact, in the code of ethics that we're driven by, it's absolutely stated there that we cannot reveal our clients' motivation unless they ask us to.
Well, what you said was, we never actually talked about really how much you're making when we were in our transaction. And I was like, wonder how much she's making. And I remember asking. And it was not till the very end, until the whole deal. And I was like, I think a real estate person can make a lot of money. But so can a car salesperson and anybody selling when your heart is true to what you're actually selling and believing in. So I think you really are good at that. You're really great at that. Because I think a lot of people, emotions are high when they're selling. One is, like you shared, if they're having financial challenges, because they're like, oh my gosh, I just have to get the most I can get, and sometimes that's a big error. But I think also people have a new job, so they have to relocate. Sometimes it's a happy time, and sometimes it's not, because they're uprooting their children and their family, and they're dealing with all the stress, or they've had a baby, which is a good thing, a happy thing for most people.
You didn't say it that way, but okay. For some
most
people, it's a happy thing.
And then they have to move because they need a bigger house.
Yeah.
Or they've inherited money
Yeah.
and they're maybe thinking, I want something greater. They get married and they've each had their own house and they're going to start a new life together.
Right.
Or it could be a very sad time where they've got divorced or they've somebody's passed away and they've had to sell that house. So you have to wear personally yourself a lot of hats. Do you find?
Oh, you know what? It's one of the things I love about it is that it's so multifaceted and so rewarding. And absolutely, you're you know, I sat at a table with 12 people screaming and yelling and throwing things at each other, and you're just kind of sitting there calmly, waiting for the dust to settle so that you can get to the next stage of the negotiation. Yeah. And again, I'm so honored to be there because I love these people are being themselves in front of me, with, you know, unabashedly.
I was myself in front of you.
You were. You always are.
That's for sure.
Yeah. But you know, what you were saying, again, it's really important, you know, when people are going through those changes, the unsuspecting consumer who isn't being represented by somebody that they can really trust doesn't realize what a vulnerable place they put themselves in.
I agree with you.
For example, if a person is thinking, you know, young couple is thinking, you know, maybe we'll buy a house. We're going to start going to open houses. And off they go. And what happens as soon as they walk in the door of the open house, there's a realtor there saying, hi, how are you? What's your name? You know, sign here. What brings you here? Right away, they're asking questions of motivation. Now, if that couple decide, say the couple says to the realtor, we have been looking for 2 years and this is the perfect house. This is it. This is I mean, we love it. And then they go back to their realtor, well, my ability to negotiate for them is going to be impacted now by what they said.
Their emotion.
And the fact that they've told the realtor
I'm willing to pay more.
You know, so it's you really need to understand what it is that you're doing, what you're revealing about yourself when you go out into the market.
So it's important to find a realtor that you trust.
Absolutely.
I think that's really, really important to find somebody you trust.
Yep.
And you have to go probably maybe sometimes through a few.
I think that's true, and I don't think anybody, I never ask my clients, this is personal to me, I never ask my clients to sign anything until we've had a little bit of time to work together. Now that's not the case. I know a lot of realtors will put a buyer representation agreement in front of you the second they meet you.
I've had that actually happen, and I never ended up dealing with them because I felt like I was being trapped into something.
Well, you see, that philosophy doesn't work for me, because if you don't want to work with me, I don't want to trap you into working for me. It's a sacred trust. You know, we have to move ahead. You have to feel like you made a good choice. And I have to feel that I can represent you with confidence. And so, you know, trickery doesn't work.
No.
It should be, you know, completely transparent, the process.
What do you think is the most common error that that people make when they list their house?
Well, you know, it's always the same. It's always the same. They think their house is worth more than it is. And it's because they're emotionally attached to it. They've been investing in it. And that is one of the hardest conversations you have as a realtor, because when you go into those listing presentations, you realize you're probably competing. And other realtors are probably telling them exactly what they want to hear.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, it's sure.
And you're not the one dealing with them.
And you know, but if you really want to take that listing and you really want to serve them well and have their best interests at heart, you have to sit them down and say, let's look at the facts. Let's look at what's sold in the area. Let's, you know, and here's the best. Obviously, I'm not going to ask them to list for less than it's worth if I'm being paid a percentage point of what I'm making. I obviously want to get them every penny that I possibly can. But that's a tough conversation. And the good clients will always, if they trust you, they'll always let it be, and it turns out well. You
did that actually for me, because you came back to me with a whole bunch of other listings around so I could actually see what the reality was.
Right.
Because sure, I was emotionally connected to my house like everybody is, and it's kind of like when I was in the car business, you know, people would come and trade their cars and we'd tell them what it's worth, and I've actually had people cry, and I'm like, that's just what it's worth. It's just what it is, right? Yeah. So you help me deal with that reality. Yeah. But one of the great things that you're really phenomenal at is helping somebody stage their house to sell it. So just share a little bit about how do you prepare for the market? Thank you for asking. Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it's critical to be prepared for the market. And if first of all, just back to that previous piece, 80% of the success of the sale of your property is going to be picking the right asking price, and that's a fact. Yeah. The next piece is a fact. That's a fact, sister. I'm telling you, I've been there, I've done it. That's a fact. And the second piece is that house competes on the market beautifully.
And this is, again, it's a slippery slope. You know, if you say to this dear 75-year-old woman, you know, all those family photos have to go and all the, you know, needle points have to go.
Everything away.
You have to have a way of dealing with that everybody's comfortable with. But the long and the short of it is a clean house and an uncluttered house.
Uncluttered.
A freshly painted house, if at all possible.
Did that.
Certainly you did. You were very compliant. You were a very good girl. And we got a great result, didn't we?
We did.
And a house that has appealing curb appeal will sell.
Yeah. The lighting, I know that was really important when you came and we took the pictures that we were going to advertise online.
Yeah.
And you did all the lighting and I was like, wow. When I looked at the pictures, so we did the flooring, we painted, we cluttered, and I got rid of stuff and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would move into here.
Yeah, I would buy this house.
Yeah. And when I saw it online, I was like, wow, that's actually my house. I don't want to sell it, remember?
Yeah.
And I started to cry. And I'm like,
and what did I say?
I actually didn't want to sell it now. And I'm like, I would buy that house.
And I said, you don't have to sell it if you don't want to.
But we did.
I don't believe in pressure at all.
And life went on in great abundance. And I passed by it and I think somebody's living there. And the great thing is they got all that extra value, if I want to call it, into the house. So we decluttered. We did have to take down pictures. And I know when we've been actually looking at different houses, when we've walked in and we've seen pictures, it actually, and it's maybe not a good thing, but we actually kind of pass judgment on who kind of lives there and what's going on. And that's not really a good thing. So it's important to take the pictures down. Yeah, so I know that for sure.
You know, people want to be able to imagine themselves living there, to project themselves into this space.
That's fun.
A lot of these, by the way, a lot of these buyers know this because of all the shows on the air, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of shows. You should have your own show. You should definitely have your own show. What do you think is the most common error that buyers make when they're house hunting?
Yeah. You know, they're the most vulnerable, especially, as I was saying earlier, the new home buyers, very vulnerable, not educating themselves, not taking the time to pick someone. You know, find a realtor through people that you know and trust, somebody that served them well, sit down and get the information together, get a little bit of education under their belt so that they know the way the system works when they go out into it. That's the big mistake they make.
And financial advice, right?
Absolutely, being pre-approved so that they know what they can afford.
And there's nothing worse or more sad than going out to want to buy a house and you find something, you love it, and you're not approved. And you go home and you're just like, I haven't had that happen, but
and sometimes you can get approved.
Lakefront property. You know, when we were looking for waterfront and stuff, you know, let's just talk about that because so many people would love to live on the waterfront, but it's a completely different market, right?
Oh, for sure. You know, it's without a doubt, the waterfront mystique is intoxicating, and that's actually where I began my training. And I considered that. I know. That's
how we met. I was looking at waterfront property, and I saw your sign.
I remember the first house I met you at. The thing with waterfront is that in learning to be a realtor through the waterfront experience, I had to cut my teeth on the really difficult deals on, you know, riparian rights, which is the varying waterfront ownerships, on wells, on septics, on oil tanks, on propane tanks, on all the different heating and cooling systems. You know, it was a great place for me to begin because now selling standard residential real estate is pretty standard offer to write up.
Well, one thing that I just want to share with everybody, because when I first found you, and most realtors, you find their sign has a picture of them, and yours was a character. And I love it. This is so you. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it was a character of you.
Caricature, yeah.
And I actually called it, and you called me, and then we ended up starting to look. So you also do an email that you put out. So just share with me a little bit about this. Carole Plant, sales representative, you've got a friend in the business. Share a little bit about what this is.
Well, this, first of all, my slogan, you've got a friend in the business, I felt really spoke to exactly the message I'm trying to convey, is that you don't have to be pressured, you don't have to be forced, you don't have to be afraid. There's all the time in the world, or you can move as fast as you want to, but I feel that I come at this from the basis of love and friendship, and whatever is best for you is whatever is best for me. So I feel really comfortable with that being the way that the message that I'm conveying out there. This document is a leave behind that just for somebody who's never met me before, or maybe I am going into a home where they've heard about me but I might be competing, I'd like to leave behind a little bit of a history of who I am. On the back cover, there's things that my clients have actually said about me.
Why choose Carole?
Yeah.
Here's what her clients have to say.
And you know, Royal LePage, your Community Realty, we're the largest RLP brokerage in Canada. So, you know, we've got a lot of power behind us to support our clients, and I feel great about that. But also my strategies on buying and selling are in there, and anything else that they might want to know about me. And it's just, I find it just a little bit of validation. And also on the front cover, it points out that in 2010, which is our most recent year, I was the #1 Gold Award winner in our office.
I want to talk about your award.
I know, I was very excited.
Tell us about that. Yay for you!
Thank you. And it actually was quite a miracle that that happened, because I don't advertise myself in a traditional way. My business is completely based on referral. A business, friends like you and friends like Celeste, who was just here a minute ago. That's how my business is built. So I was really surprised, and maybe the long shot horse to come in at the head of our office, and everybody else was scratching their head and just wondered, but you know, slow and steady wins the race.
Because of your ability, girl. You won it because of your ability.
You're very
and this
kind.
is really great what you do, because it says, you know, 10 top reasons why you want to work with you. It gives your promise to the customer. The great thing is the testimonies on the back that tell everybody why they love you, because you can't make that up.
It's true.
So that's true. I should be writing on the back of this.
You should be. I better get your name. I was just sitting here thinking, how long until she asks why her name isn't on the back? And it was
I
about
should be doing that.
0.2 seconds.
And a great thing is you've got a wonderful picture of you and your dog Daisy on the front,
Daisy,
which is so wonderful.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you've got all your locations inside
Absolutely.
where you're working.
Yeah.
So you've got 11 locations.
Yeah, we do.
So you're quite diversified in your ability to
we go from
connect.
King Street right up to Keswick.
So let's just lastly talk about, what's your special designation?
I have a designation called Accredited Buyer Representative. It's a designation that comes out of the States, but it's an advanced designation in buyer representation, which is, again, a specialized field. You're taking on a lot of responsibility there when you're taking on a new buyer. And with that, I also took an advanced designation in negotiation. So those pieces. Well, I love negotiating. You know, you've got to be very peaceful and calm, and that's how you get where you're going.
And is your designation very common amongst other?
I wish I could give you. I don't know the statistics on that. I know it's highly recognized, but I don't know in my office. I don't know if there are many people who have it.
You know, the best part I love about this is at the beginning the sign says for sale, and then at the end it says sold. And I took pictures of that, and I kept them.
Did you?
I put them on Facebook, I think.
Probably.
I took a picture of you for sale and sold. So with your character, I thought it was really great. So you have a lot of character, and you have a lot of heart. So you're a really great real estate person.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you so much, Carole, for joining us today. And I know our time is actually up. So how will people be able to get in touch with you?
Well, they can get in touch with me at C.McGill-Plant at simpatico.ca or Carole Plant at Twitter.
Yeah.
And or on Facebook.
You have a Facebook page, don't you?
I do.
Let's promote that.
Yeah, Carole Plant.
Carole Plant.
Yep.
And I think there's a picture of you as your character on there.
It's my caricature.
It's your character.
Yeah.
So you want to search Facebook, you want to follow her on Twitter. Is email the best to get in touch with you?
You know, any of those ways will get you there. And the thing I think that the key thing I want everybody to know is that you can have one realtor for your whole lifetime. It's like it's one person, one phone call away. If you need to buy in British Columbia, I can help you with that. If you need to sell in California, I can help you with that. You start in one place. And take it from there. But it's just like having a lawyer you love or a hairdresser that you love.
A hairdresser that you love, absolutely.
You know, we women get that.
So before we sign off, I just want to make sure that, you know, if there were any words of wisdom or advice that you could give to the people, what would you share?
I would just say, do not be afraid in this world of real estate. That, you know, there are people who will push and shove you, and there are people who will give you bad advice. But don't be afraid. Follow your instincts. Look, don't sign anything until you find somebody that you really know you can trust, and then you know you'll be in good hands.
It's like the real estate. You're in good hands with the all statement with you, with Carole Plant. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Wendy.
And there's so much knowledge and wisdom in what just happened here. Because for people that are newly married, going out to find their way, or people, you know, that have had death or divorce, it's not always easy. They say, you know, some of the most stressful events are death, buying a car, and buying a house. Mm-hmm. So you can help a lot of people. So thank you so much. You helped me for sure.
Thank you.
So you can find us at Fabulous Fit and Fantastic every third Tuesday. We're always live at that channel. And I want to promote Fabulous Fit and Fantastic fan page, because there is something awesome, spectacular that's about to happen. When we have 1,000 people, we're going to have a celebration show, and it's going to be obviously by thatchannel.com, and Randy Thomas is going to help me with it. There's going to be over thousands of people there. So I want you to go and click Fabulous Fit and Fantastic on fan page, because what will happen is you will be personally invited to that celebration show. So please go and do that and share it with all your friends, because there's a lot of great things happening with Fabulous Fit and Fantastic TV. Another thing is, please keep sending me all your wonderful messages to wendyladd.com. I keep sharing that. I'm always inspired by everything that you share with me. We've had over 16,800 people hitting it, and I'm just like, I'll start to cry because I'm so excited. There's so many people following us now. So please just keep visiting wendyladd.com. All the blogging, all the information's on there. How to personally get your own pH sheet. I've devised it specifically for you. Easy way to learn how to eat pH, alkaline and acidic, to balance your body, feel good, be healthy, and we will definitely be putting Sprouting Goodness on the site so that you can get your juices like I'm starting tomorrow. Everything's going to be on there. All the people we're associated with, all the videos of thatchannel.com you can go and watch as well. And thank you to everybody on Facebook that keeps following us, Twitter, all my family and all my friends. Thank you for joining us. We're here live at That Channel, Wendy Ladd, at Fabulous Fit and Fantastic. So we'll see you next time.